Hi everybody, this is the Baseball Hit, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion, your host, and welcome back to the Baseball Hit 3, and hopefully you like this video and hit that subscribe button. So in this video, we're going to talk about Christopher Mad Dog Russo, and somebody doesn't like him. And a lot of people like him, I like him, but some people don't like him, and this is this guy, Jeff Pearlman. I didn't realize that he's like a podcaster. I know he wrote this nasty book about 20 years ago, at the 86 Mets, saying, the book was titled The Bad Guys Won. But I know that he wrote that book. It was a rather boring book, to be honest with you. Just a lot of dirt. A lot of dirt in that book. But interestingly enough, I guess he does a podcast. I guess he's sort of this rather grumpy personality. I remember they did this documentary on the 86 Mets years ago. And he was part of it, and he's talking, and then they had him talking, and he was talking about the aces, and then it's like a blank stare after he talked, Started talking, and really, it was very bizarre. I'm surprised they didn't edit that, but it was a very bizarre way he said it, and what he was ever talking about. This is from Awful Announcing. He had a lot to say, maybe too much to say about the Mad Dog. The Mad Dog is unique to himself. He's not cookie cutter. A lot of the times you see these guys that that do commentating, they're all the same, dress the same, talk the same. And the women, oh my God, you see these women discussing sports, all sound the same. The women are even weird because aside from 2 or 3 different women, they all sound the same, and it's the weirdest thing. I watched the NBA the other day on Christmas Day, and I guess that woman, Dorothy Burke, I think her name is, she sounds like a robot, like a female robot. Very strange. She sounds very similar to the lady that does the the Athletic play-by-play. She sounds the same. It's weird. And a lot of women out there that do all that sports commentating, they all sound the same. It's very bizarre. Anyway. Headline from Awful Announcing: Jeff Pearlman doesn't understand why anyone still listens to Chris Mad Dog Russo. I just actually don't get the shtick. Well, Jeff Pearlman looked up at a dinner TV, saw Chris Russo talking about the Bears' Super Bowl chances, and decided he needed answers. The author and podcaster went on to an extended rant in a recent TikTok video, questioning why Russo at 65 still has a prominent platform in sports media. Pearlman made it clear he has no personal beef with Russo, even though Russo has apparently said some mean things about him over the years, but generally doesn't understand why people still listen. I think he kind of, he's got a beef. I don't have a beef, but I have a beef. I know he said some bad things, but I'm going to go after him. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. He sounds like a very petty guy, which some of these guys that have no talent seem to be very petty. Quote, I have a random and weird question, Pearlman began. I was just sitting at a dinner and I look over at the TV and Chris Mad Dog Russo was talking about whether the Bears can make the Super Bowl. And I was thinking, why does anyone listen to Mad Dog Russo talking about the Bears? Like, I don't really understand his survival. He's actually said some kind of mean things about me over the year, which I don't know why. I don't have any beef with him. Well, apparently he's just said that. Why? Because he said mean things about you. Get this guy a tissue. My goodness. Get him some Kleenex. Pearlman continued. I just actually don't get the shtick dating back to the Mike and the Mad Dog days. Even though he was much more likable than Mike Francesa, I don't get the shtick. Doesn't it wear out after a while? All right, so Russo's probably in his 60s now. At some point, the whole you guys don't understand blah, blah, blah has to get old at some point, no? Why would anyone still listen to Mad Dog Russo about the Bears? He doesn't even live in Chicago. It's stupid. So let me get this straight. So you can't talk about a team in another place in this country. So I can't, as a Mets fan, I can't talk about the Dodgers. Or I can't talk about the Mariners. Or I can't talk about the Cubs. I don't live there. Does that make any sense? No. I actually don't get it anymore. The ecosystem confuses me. I'm not saying anyone should listen to me about why the Bears would make the Super Bowl, but I'm not telling you why the Bears will make the Super Bowl. I'm just a guy telling stories. I like bullshit stories, I guess. I don't. Really, what a bizarre take. Russo is arguably more visible now than he's been in years. He's 65, spent 19 years co-hosting the Mike and the Mad Dog on WFAN before leaving for Sirius XM, and has been hosting Mad Dog Unleashed on his own Sirius XM channel ever since. So is every WFAN host, when they leave WFAN, they go and do their own show, and it's something unleashed? See, Mad Dog Unleashed makes sense because he's a mad dog, you know. But why is BT Unleashed? Why did Brandon Tierney name his channel on YouTube Unleashed? Are we going to see Spaz Unleashed with Sal Licata? I should do a Hut Unleashed, you know? But then again, I'm never going to be on WFAN. That would be a solid career endpoint for most people. But Russo has experienced a legitimate career renaissance over the past few years, largely because of his weekly appearance on ESPN's First Take. You know, some people don't know about him. I mean, he's a radio guy. And on Sirius XM Radio, people kind of look at him as a radio guy. Now, he was at MLB for a long time doing his show, which was a great show until they brought Liz Russo on. She just destroyed that show. You know, but he was great doing that show for a long time, and he had this producer who was terrific, and they would go back and forth and talking about different things, and they really knew the sport. They really knew the history of the sport. But, you know, for the young kids, you know, their exposure to him is very different. And I think a lot of them look at this, what mental institution did this guy come from? Russo joined First Take in early 22 as a weekly Wednesday contributor alongside Stephen A. Smith. The appearances introduced him to millions of younger viewers who had no idea who he was. His What Are You Mad About segment became a regular feature. Russo's manic energy proved to be a perfect contrast to Smith's bombast. ESPN extended his contract in 24. Russo has been open about much the gig has meant to his career. I love the First Take gig. I've had a renaissance. It's because of Stephen A. Well, that's the thing about Russo. He doesn't fit into a box. Russo is a performer. He yells, he mispronounces words, and a lot of it's not on purpose. He makes references to obscure 1940s baseball players that nobody else cares about, and he does it all with complete conviction. Either you find that entertaining or you don't. There's no middle ground, Russo knows that. Which is probably why Pearlman doesn't get it. If you don't enjoy the act, watching Russo scream about the Bears, making the Super Bowl feels pointless. But plenty of people do enjoy it. Russo was inducted to the Radio Hall of Fame in 2022. He's had a national sports radio platform on Sirius XM for 16 years. He hosted High Heat on the MLB network until 2024. And now he's a regular on one of ESPN's flagship shows, introducing himself to an audience that wasn't watching sports television when Mike and the Mad Dog were dominating New York radio in the 1990s. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Pearlman later added, I don't get who survives in this business, who doesn't survive in this business, who lasts in this business, who fades out in this business. How there's so many really good people you don't see anymore. But people who like Mad Dog, I'm not saying he's a bad guy, I just don't get the shtick and the entirety of the shtick. But someone explained it to me. I actually don't get it. It would be great to see a Mad Dog response to this. Because if he said mean things about him, he's going to respond. It means Mad Dog doesn't like him. The sports media industry is full of talented people who couldn't make it work, while others with less obvious appeal stick around for decades. And plus, the thing is, Chris has a distinctive, very peculiar dialect and a very peculiar way of speaking. Very specific to him. And when you hear him talk, you know it's him. When I listen specifically to this political show, I can't listen to it. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton. Both of those guys, they both look different, but they both sound the same. It is horrible to listen to because I can't figure out who the hell's talking. Russo has a voice that you know it's his voice, and it's very distinct to him. And that's what's amazing about him. You know when he talks, you know who that voice is, the laugh, everything. He's very, in an industry, in the media industry, everybody's dressed the same, they look the same. He even looks different from everybody else too. Russo has survived because he's loud, he's consistent, he's built relationships with people like Stephen A. Smith who have massive platforms. Whether that answers Pearlman's question about why anyone should care what Russo thinks about the Bears is a different matter. Russo doesn't live in Chicago. He's not a Bears expert. He's a 65-year-old guy with opinions yelling into a microphone, which is exactly what he's been doing for 40 years. The shtick hasn't changed. The platform has just gotten bigger, right? He has not changed, And he complains about nonsense most of the time, just like the regulars, all the other patients at WFAN. He's an original patient, by the way. Also, to keep an eye on, another thing to keep in mind of is that Mike and the Mad Dog is really the most successful two-man team in the radio business. And they are really the sort of, every radio station tries to do this. They have two guys talking rather than just have one guy dominating the airwaves. They like the sort of back and forth better than the person talking to the audience. They feel that they fill the time better, But that's the story. And of course, Jeff Pearlman will rant and rave, and if he's on TV, he'll stare off into space after he's done talking. Hope you enjoyed this video. I've never done this before where I talked about somebody and just start, I mean, what a bizarre guy. If he's anything like this in real life, But anyway, thank you for watching this video. And of course, please subscribe to the Baseball Hut 3. Channel's doing great. If you're coming by the first time, smash that subscribe button because this channel is exploding, blowing up, whatever you want to call it. We're going to get to 1,000 subscribers and get to 400 subscribers so quick. And it's all because you've been watching and leaving comments. And of course, thank you for watching. I'll see you later.